What's up? So, if anyone decides to watch this or not, I gotta make a separate video. I swear, if they had a different social media platform that you can upload videos and spread the message, the word to people, then I would join up on that bitch. But YouTube is weird, and some of the things people do on YouTube are weird. People are weird on YouTube, and the things they do on YouTube is weird. But I say that this whole Trump, Biden, Kamala, or however you say that lady's name, you want to include Obama, George Bush, all that stuff is just, it's kind of like a reality show, like a reality TV series, right? Like if a lot of black folk, y'all like to watch Love and Hip Hop or The Housewives of whatever, right? We like that shit, right? It's embedded in our DNA. They know what we like. Some of y'all try to play it off and be bougie and sophisticated and classy, but deep down inside, you know you like that shit. Well, when they first put what's that fucking cat at? When they first put in Obama in the office, that was that was just a what you call psychological, sociological, whatever warfare. That's just mind control. You're right. They know that black people they've been studying um, eugenics. A lot of black people should know about eugenics and what they were doing a long time ago. Hell, I don't want to fucking type it up because it's disgusting on what they did and what they were trying to achieve. They wrote books, different volumes, on the skull structures of a European man, an African, and then I guess black people, right? And they would make these books and just straight up like dog out asshole, like straight up racism shit. Crazy. And some of those, I guess, whatever you want to call it, is kind of sort of coming back. Now, you should know what a simulation is, or to be simulated, right? Or if someone manipulates, not so much manipulates you, but manipulates something in a manner to make you act the way that they already, I guess, was surprised that you would act that way, right? So you got niggas and then you got black folk, right? And we know what niggas are. Niggas is like the black people over in Chicago shooting each other. And then what's the first thing they do? They say Black Lives Matter. That's niggas. Black people, they know the difference between, wait a minute now, if I kill this black man or I kill this black woman, but then I cry and I want help, or I cry racism, or I cry, inequality, or complain about, unfair pay wages or anything like that, then I know that I'm right. Okay, that's black folk, right? That's educated black people. Then you have straight up niggas, just straight out the zoo, monkey assholes, right? So they pretty much, these scientists from, so you got to go back to, like, let's use Henrietta Lacks time, right? Matter of fact, let me pull that up. I think that was 18 something. Hold on. Stem cell Henrietta Lacks. I got to use people's names and dates as, okay, 1951. That said, that was, it was when she died. She unknowingly donated cells at Hopkins Hospital in 1951, right? Her cells became what was the first and for many years the only human cell line to produce indefinitely, right? Over and over, right? Not voluntary, involuntary, meaning that it involuntarily kept reproducing. So they call it the HeLa cells. H-E as in he, and La, L-A like La, right? Now you got to think, the people who noticed that were white European people, right? They weren't black folks. Let me brighten my screen. And they didn't even tell the family. That was actually in the news, that the family didn't even know that these assholes okay, we're using this woman's cells because they saw it. They were looking at it under the microscope, right? Now, the reason why I'm using this example is because now if you fast forward today, the same people putting out the pills and the medicines and the vaccines and the shots and this and vials and ointments and creams are still white European people. I have nothing against them. I just think that the people today are the surviving family members of the people in the past, right? Let's talk about Bayer. Bayer actually is, they're actually drug dealers if you think about it. They may make pills, over the counter pills, but these motherfuckers know they science. Chemistry is big business in America because most of all the products you use is made of chemicals. The air has chemicals in it. Your skin inside of you is made of chemicals. The ground that your feet and your shoes touch is made of chemicals, right? Now you're probably wondering, why am I talking about all this and what does that have to do with George Bush, Obama, who came after Obama? Biden, and then, I mean, yeah, but no, Trump, then Biden, and then now we have Trump again, right? Well, you have to understand that a lot of all the stuff that you have read and you have been taught, that who's producing the food that you eat, that you buy at the grocery stores. Yeah, you may have a few black food choices on the shelf, but it is not the majority, right? They're not producing the meat that we stuff our faces with, the canned vegetables that we stuff our faces with. You know, you may have some barbecue sauces that are black owned, some lemonade and shit, some Pop Tarts, but or bread. Not even there's I don't even know if there's black owned bread. There could be probably in Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia, but the majority people, like, what black owned farm that you know that's producing meats and stuff for a grocery store that's been in business for over 150 years or 50 years, 70 years, I don't know, right? I saw this video, and if I can find it, I'd share it. This black man said, black people don't have economic power. You have zero economic power. The only power you have is to mate and produce mixed biracial kids. That's about it. You have no economic power. The only power you have is when you walk in the damn Foot Locker or you go to Jordan.com and you buy a pair of shoes and you get your hair cut. That's the only power you have, right? We consume more than we produce. There's this black guy, if you go on blacknews.com, he went to school for electrical engineering, or maybe it was just engineering. I don't know which one, because you can do civil and still know electrical. All of it's pretty much all about learning electronics. And he made headphones for the deaf. He made headphones for the deaf. Now, you would think, damn, how come there's not more black people doing that? That is something that is kind of like a eye-opening thing. Now, if all, or maybe not all, maybe one in every 5 black people had that type of mentality and mindset, then we would start having buying, we would have economic power, because he just made himself a producer and not so much a consumer. Since he made those headphones, he can make a line of headphones and he can make a line of medical equipment. Now that gives him buying power. That gives him power, right? And when you have power, you have the ability to control what you put out, obviously. So let's keep those two in mind when you go in the grocery store and you buy those unhealthy sodas and ultra processed foods. The people who produce that have power, but they also have control. They put it out. They say the American people, they stuff their faces with this shit. Now you have medical problems. You have to have low self-esteem to not care about your health. Point blank and period. Ladies, when you go and you meet a guy, okay, first thing you do, you look at everything: his fingernails, his teeth, his eyes, skin, all that, face, hair, clothing. You know, you wouldn't even continue the date if the guy showed up with food stains on his clothing, right? Hair looks all nasty looking. Dude ain't brushed his teeth, right? So it's no different when you go in the store and you look at a product on the shelf. and you see it's loaded with sodium, loaded with cholesterol, loaded with all types of shit, but you still buy it and you stuff your body with it, you right? Or you stuff your face with it. Either or, tomato. A lot of y'all took the COVID vaccine. You don't even know who made it. It was Johnson and Johnson, then it was Moderna, Pfizer, Astra, and another one. But you went and took it. You don't even know what's in it. You don't even know who produced it. You know it's this name of this company, but you don't know that there was probably other people involved. Now, if many of y'all played Resident Evil, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Damn, right? The same people that complain about things are the same people who will go and consume some shit and not even know what's in it. It's like muscle memory, or monkey see, monkey do. We see other people do these things. We do it because as humans, we try to have some sort of synergy, connection with other people, which you'll never get to know in your lifetime. And they probably wouldn't want to be your friend anyways, right? Because you see all the people lined up eating this one particular product. So we have to go and consume that same thing. Now your ass have health issues because you consume so much of it. A lot of the products today is loaded with so many chemicals. It's like a fucking lab, a lab, a lab and a product, right? Everyone knows back in the day the food was pure, it was good. They, what is it? Sodium helps preserve the shelf life, so it sits there for months, weeks, days. Days is okay, but when it starts turning into months, so you buy a product and it says expiration date 2025. Like I got some salsa in my fridge from HEB. There's picante and then there's salsa. I think this is picante or salsa, whatever we want. It says the expiration date is 2025. That's kind of long for something like that, even if you keep it in the fridge. But that's kind of weird, right? Sodium's not that high, but you got to think that they got in the business of food, not us. So why are they loading the foods with so much chemicals? But this is going to get much deeper. I'm going to get back to the president shit because this is all connected. Now you got to remember, a long time ago on day one, we used to be hunters and gatherers, right? Earth was perfect. Even through the Ice Age, motherfuckers froze to death. But I think that the way that we were designed perfectly for Earth. But then I think something happened. I think something changed our DNAs to now we have to rely on things we don't know how to do anymore. The education system is dead. Your children are just going there. It's basically like a club. It gives the woman something to do, and it helps keep the man in his place. Like everyone has their own lane. It's like well, fucking simulation, right? You are simulated to act the way that they kind of design, not you, but design the system for you to act in a way such that you are supposed to act. So basically, you do as you're told. And so a lot of people be like, you heard your mothers and fathers say, oh my God, you know, I have kids and this and that. But no one told you to have kids, right? Like that was a choice to make. And so that says a lot about this Western culture all over the world. A lot of people don't get it. In China, it's pretty bad. It's probably, they try to censor everything. They don't like when Chinese, they don't want the China people to use the internet because they don't want the world to see how fucked up they are. But we'll talk about that in another video. Matter of fact, I might just share some links. There's this guy who actually, he's Chinese and he's talking about the things they do in China. They actually create a lot of fake food. It's real bad in China, but whatever. Um, what was I saying? But yes, and so it's weird. It's some weird shit. That's why there's a lot of people who will get into the most hardest thing ever, and they'll try to master that profession or job title, buy land, and then they'll learn how to live off that land. Right? They still go to the grocery store like everybody else. They still use toilet paper to wipe the ass. Maybe they don't. Maybe they use leaves and shit. I don't know. They still whole house and everything. They still go to grocery stores just like everybody else. Remember, grocery stores are just a convenient way of getting stuff. A lot of us complain about spices being too expensive, this being it. No, you're paying for the convenience of the fact that someone else did this. That's what you're paying for, the convenience. Okay? I don't know. Think of a spice, garlic, right? Now, if you tried to grow garlic, it would take a while, right? But if you go in the grocery store, it's readily available. So buy it, right? If you're going to complain, then shut the fuck up, right? But if you're going to complain and come up with a solution, then keep coming up with solutions, right? You got people out here gardening and growing their own stuff, and they get a hydrator and they like onions. You can use the skins from onions and hydrate it, make onion powder. Or you take the whole onion, I guess, and you split it apart, right? And you layer it out on a pan sheet and you put it in a dehydrator. I said hydrator, dehydrator. And you dehydrate it and you crush it, turns it to onion powder. And you make your own onion powder. There's people out here living like that. You have your fruits and your vegetables grown. You can it and you preserve it, right? You make your own diced tomatoes, tomato sauce, pasta sauce. You know what I'm saying? The choice is yours to make on how you want to live. Either you take the red pill, the blue pill. It's up to you. But don't complain. You can't complain and then join the club. You can't be in the club and then complain about these things and then expect change. Change comes from you, right? You don't like the way your health is, then stop eating the shit that's ultra processed. Let's talk about McDonald's. McDonald's, that was crazy. That hasn't happened in a while, right? And people still lined up eating at McDonald's. You spend more on fast food than it would just be you going out getting a pack of chickens, pack of turkey breasts, and some sides. And if you make a casserole out of it, right, you might have to fill that in with like rice or something or beans. I don't know. And our bodies aren't meant to eat so much food. We're not meant to eat, 3 times a day. You know, um, but keep on paying attention to um, the people, the narrators, right? The food pyramid, right? Look at the people who is telling you. It's not what. Look at who is telling you. Who's been telling everybody. You're supposed to eat your grains and when you eat like dinner, right? Now, I'm not making fun of white people. Well, actually, I am. I've done it against white people. You've seen it in the movies. The white family sits there and they all drinking a glass of milk and they eating like beef stew or, pot of roast. I don't know. I'm like, how does that taste? Are they eating like, a fish dinner or something and they drinking a glass of milk? That's strange. That I'd probably throw up. Then I'd vomit. It's nasty. Give me some Sprite or something or, some beer or some shit. You know what I'm saying? But they'll drink some fucking milk. But black people, we can't lactose that shit. And I'm not about to go on YouTube or the internet and say, well, there was a period of time. No, fuck that. You can look that up yourself, right? So it's all about paying attention to who is telling you these things. It can be from the earth and all the planets in our solar system to the human body, the cells, everything. Another thing to get you thinking is go back in the early 2000s when you were looking at TV and you had nothing else better to do with your miserable lives. And you look at the advertisements and it would just be white people, right? On health, like, beauty shit, makeup and stuff. Of course, black people had to complain because they wanted to be included, right? And now you walking around caked up with this makeup shit and it's actually aging you fast. Because the skin, our bodies we weren't designed to have this shit on our skins, okay? It just wasn't designed to have that. So if you don't wear makeup or don't wear it now. If your family is telling you, if there's someone in your family, you have to dismiss them, cut these people off, and run for your life and go live somewhere else, somewhere where you can be free and happy. A lot of women wear it because, again, that is called social engineering. That's called manipulation. A lot of people are manipulated into doing what others do. I'm telling y'all, man, it's going to be a day when the humans of this planet will be free. You will be free, but it's going to take another 100 years, um, and stuff like that. Remember how you used to be on the job and you see that one guy and he would come in with he would dye his hair blue and red. Though he was actually being a lot more free with himself than the people who were all timid and conservative and stuff and judgmental, right? So I don't know about tattoos. I honestly think tattoos are kind of dumb. You need tattoos to express yourself through a tattoo. Okay, so you slave your job and then you go spend some money just for them to dig in your skin with needles and ink and color and stuff, just to show that you're trying to express yourself. That is so stupid. That is dumb. But whatever. Cultural wise, that's cool. I think that shit is cool. That I think somewhere Hawaiians, they get those tattoos, or parts of Asia, they do that shit. But people over here getting tattoos of like dogs, cats, that's kind of corny. You get tattoos of your name on your body or your children's name on your body. That's kind of corny. You mean to tell me you don't know your children's name? And if you're into crime, you're a criminal, and you get tattoos, you just made yourself easily identifiable, right? Anyways, but let's go and try to connect all that I said with the whole, and it's going to be really funny because it's going to be really short with, Obama and George Bush and Biden and Kamala and Trump. Well, see, they have different presidents to match the personalities of the people. All these presidents that they elect or they choose, they're chosen, not elect, chosen, is to match the personalities, feelings, emotions of the American people. These patriot type assholes that say, I'm American, this is my land, my daddy, right? There's black people who think like that too. Black, white, Mexican, you name it. And, poor Indians, no one wants to help them. Fuck. And so they have presidents that match. They're chosen, not selected. I say chosen to um to match. I mean, not to match, but to manipulate the people. So notice how they had George Bush, old white men. Most of them are old white men, anyways, right? Everybody knows that. But it's their personalities and how they kind of they use their personalities and how they look to manipulate and control the people. Kind of like, how do you get more older white people to vote? We get an old white man as a president, and they ain't gonna put an old white woman as a president. Yeah. So they said, let's try something different. Let's get a black guy in here. And what is he, half Kenyan and some other shit, right? And then look how that turned out. And it put a bad taste in the black people's mind. You have some black people that were for him, you have some that are against it. Then they had, what's his name, Trump. And so a lot of people think that he might be KKK, he might be the leader of the KKK, and all this other shit, right? Then look at the people and how they acted when he became president. Tons of videos showing white dudes calling black dudes Niggers, and police presence. They were acting more aggressive towards anybody who's black, who is either guilty or not guilty in the caught in the act of maybe doing a crime, or maybe they weren't doing a crime. Maybe they just made an accident. Who knows? And then from Biden, then they went from him, I'm sorry, Trump, then bam, Biden, another old white man. And so, but this time what they did with Biden was they put a black woman, but she wasn't so much black. She's like Indian. She's Indian or something, right? And black. Some people argue, well, that's not really a black. She's not. She's a biracial woman. Obviously, it's still a woman, and but she's not, black per se, right? Um, and they thought that putting someone like that with Biden would kind of soften the image of old white men. You know, presidents really don't have much power from what it seemed like Obama. But you see what they tried to do with Obama. They tried to associate LGBT shit with Obama and make him look like a bitch. Now, notice you didn't get that from Biden or Trump. It makes the white man look like, you know what I'm saying? So that's how they use that to control and manipulate the people. And the people, they fall right into it with their emotions. People out here speeding, driving crazy, shooting, fighting, over this politics shit. It's weird. Now, the people can come together and actually be free if all the Americans just stop working and combine the monies that they have. So not each person, but each unit. But you got to think though, there's good people, there's bad people. That's the problem with this society. America is just a social experiment. This is just a social experiment. They got all these type of people clustered next to each other. Apartments, houses, condos, you name it. Buildings. And you're out in public. But you would think that you probably are much safe being around strangers than your own family member, right? It's weird. They say when you're out in public and, like you may design your hair a certain way. In public, you feel more free, right? When you're out and about than when you're around your family members. They say, oh my God, why do you look like that, right? It's weird. It's strange. I don't know. Because strangers, we don't see them every day. We don't, you see them once, that's it, whatever. But there is a solution to this shit. But so if you heard about those two black women from Georgia, they actually convinced over 100 family members to purchase land. So they all allocated their monies and they purchased, I think, about 97 to maybe 100 acres of land. I can't remember. And they're actually, it's massive, right? And it's called the Georgia Freedom Movement. I think that's what it's called. What else? They're two best friends, right? And they actually explained how they convinced these people to purchase this land, lots of land. It said it's going to be like not a new America, it's going to be like a new state, I think. And they're just waiting on permits, licenses, and shit. So that they, like if they wanted to build houses, they would have running water. I guess you call water city permits. I don't know, water city tanks. I don't know. And they're going to have, I think I remember reading that they're going to have like a fire station. The works. Maybe hospitals, small clinics, maybe. I don't know. You name it. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. But it's not being talked about because they're black. If they were white, it would have been a national, thing. Actually, it was all over the news and then it just went away. Because a lot of people say you can't put all these random human beings clustered in one landmass. They won't get along. They won't get along. If you take money out of everything, then people will start to lose purpose. You see the guys that have the nice cars, or even the women who have the nice cars, men and women, humans, whatever, right? People that have nice cars, nice this, that. Not a nice, I say luxury, right? Or let's just say they're people's possessions, right? If you took these things away, these people would probably kill themselves. They'd probably commit suicide because these things they identify with, these material things they identify with, because that's all they have. There's no love in their heart. There's no substance. There's no soul. There's no kindness. There's no generosity. There's no humility. There's none of that. Nothing. All people have to show for is the things they have. A lot of women, I hate to do it, single parent women. You get with a guy, have a kid, where's the man at? You get with another guy, have a kid, where's the man at? Is it the woman's problem or the man? It's both people being not raised right. Maybe you were raised right. Maybe there's something spiritual going on, demonic entities. I have no idea. I mean, I probably do know why, but some part in some people's lives, they give up. So, it sucks. It's sad. Do you want to be around people like that? Hell no. There's a lot of people out here may have a house, may have this and that. They have shit to show for, but they lack love in their heart. You have some people who don't have very nice things, but they are so loving, right? They don't have much to show for. So that's the type of humans on this planet. And you have some people who have a lot of shit to show for. And of course, they lack all those things. Then you have people who have a lot to show for it and they don't lack all those things. They have love, humanity. So, you know what I'm saying? So, like I said, all this shit was designed. This is social engineering. Whoever socially engineered us all did this like this was done with precision. And so each person has their own personality. And character doesn't really matter anymore nowadays. People don't, character doesn't mean shit. It's all about personality. When you go and you listen to music or you go to a concert, you're actually being entertained by a personality. You're not being entertained by a character. You're being entertained by personality. Let's use, what's one of these crazy ass motherfuckers out today? Okay, Takashi 69. That's a whole personality. He can't act like that every second. He would lose his mind. Why do you think a lot of them get on drugs? Let's use Mac Miller or that guy Liam something from One Direction. Dude was 33, okay, and he was. They said something about he jumped to his death, but there was drugs, there was narcotics involved. Now you would think that these people, when they get into music, yeah, you're making money in that shit. That is the truth, but there's a lot that you have to give. And most of it is your personality, your real personality. Let's use Beyonce. Everyone's seen this video on YouTube where she said that she has different personalities. And she said that she has to have different personalities to perform. So one of them is Sasha and some other shit. And you're like, whoa, just for music? Music? You have to have different personalities for music. But remember I said personalities. So a lot of people out here are hooked on that shit. Like, oh my God, I have to hear this to be wholesome and complete. Because they took that. The people who control everything, their lights, the air, the electricity, they're probably gonna Earth isn't doing well. But to you on a Monday through Sunday basis, it's nothing because you live in your bubble. But Earth isn't doing well. I might make another video. I might forget that I even mentioned that in this video. Yes, Earth has never been doing well. Let's talk about the hurricanes. I mean, the tornadoes and the hurricane Milton and what's that other one? Milton and Helene. I had messaged this lady, and she was over in was it Helene? Milton, Helene, yeah, Helene. And I just commented on her shit, and I said, "Do you think the weather was manipulated?" And she said yes. And then I said what I said. I said, some deep stuff. That's that. Yeah, they have the ability to manipulate. We all know NASA does it. Call it what is it called? Cloud seeding. and they shoot up ions, sodium ions, I think, something in the sky, and it does the stuff. It's all chemistry, it's all science. We all know that. Chemistry and science is king. Healthcare ain't, because healthcare is healthcare. You can't have healthcare without the people who weld, because they have to make the stretchers, right? And they can't become a healthcare without the people making the microscopes, the compound microscopes, electron microscopes. What is the other one? Fuck, right? Um, they can't be a hospital. Think of a hospital as a building, like a church is a building. You say, yeah, it's a hospital, but there's nothing in it. So you have to have the electrical engineers, the people who tinker with electronics, the people who tinker with chemicals, scientists. So you take all of that and you put that in a hospital. Now you can call it a hospital, right? Okay. So it's just a collection of shit in a building that's called a hospital. That's it. So they wouldn't become a hospital without those things. Same thing with a clinic. You know what I'm saying? These are inventions that was invented long ago, and they're just kind of slightly making them better. Most of these devices in hospitals are just that you can move them. They're mobile, so it has wheels on them. So they had to think, how can I take an MRI machine and put it on wheels, right? Or a CT thing and put on wheels. Unfortunately, with a CT, you need to be sitting. Well, you don't even have to be standing. I mean, you don't have to be laying down to do an MRI. You can be standing up, I think. Eventually, they'll have it where it's like an arch. You can walk through it. I mean, they probably already have it, but not if you're not rich. Of course, you're not going to experience it. But anyways, like I said, the whole presidency thing, it's all manipulation. Everybody should know that. They're saying that a lot of black dudes and Latino dudes voted for Trump and stuff. The media, pay attention to the media who talks about that. CNN, Fox. Um, if your local news is, if they verbally say that, stop watching them, because they're playing into the game, people. But yeah, I might make another video on like ideas that I have that I think that was safe, because we think that by going to a hospital that they would make us healthy. No, the things you do make you healthy. They're just going to give you a pill. They have the machinery, but you have to realize that we didn't need all that. And I had a great example on what I meant by that. We didn't need a lot of that stuff. It's kind of like you as a parent, you tell your child, whatever you do, if you see fire, you can sit next to it, you can cook things in it, but don't put your hand in the fire because it'll burn you, right? And if you, the longer you keep your hand in that fire, it's gonna melt in your skin, and then it's gonna burn through it. And if you don't treat that wound, it turns into an infection, and then it gets infected, and then you might lose your hand or your arm, right? That's kind of like today. Like, the more you keep doing something you know is bad, and the more you keep doing it and doing it and doing it, right? Eventually, some form of loss is going to happen. Some form of loss is going to occur. Now, I'm going to end this video with something I always believe. You have to think everything has origins, roots. When we see a plant, a tree, trees' roots go deep. It goes real deep, right? And you would think that, okay, humans, you have to, I always thought that when white people were lynching black folks back in the day, you would think that comes from a direction of hate, right? Of evilness. You can't be an intellect and be a murderer. That those two don't mix. They call you a mad scientist, right? The crazy scientist who's crazy, his hair's all over the place. But the dude put out some crazy ass inventions, right? The mad scientist, the mad genius. But you would think that if they were the ones patenting stuff and mass producing the things that we like to enjoy on a day-to-day basis, you can't be a criminal. You can't be You can't hate the world and produce these things and expect, you know what I mean? Like that's like someone making something like what's one thing we like that is enjoyable besides music that trying to think of something. I guess we can use food. I don't know. Food, when we eat it, it makes us feel good, right? So when someone made the first food, they say, I'm going to make this thing called a salad. I forgot who invented salads, but it goes back a long time ago, obviously. And they thought of it out of love, right? Because it's a good thing for the body. But when you make bad stuff for the body, it's not really made out of love. You know what I'm saying? So when they make like sodas or like these drinks that we drink and stuff, a lot of that stuff is so unhealthy. But that wasn't made out of love. That was made for profit. So you black man, black woman, you have to think that there's 8 billion people on the planet. But you live in this planet on this continent called America, right? And you live in some state, city, county, right? And you have to think you're going to put out a product. You see how hard it is to reach 50 people? And there's so much money that flows through these road streets. Every day there's money being made and lost, stolen and repeated every single day, every second, every hour, every minute, every week, every month. So when black people have to put out a product, have you noticed there's no black soda brands? There probably is, just not here in Texas. But you can't put out something like Coca-Cola. You will get sued. They gonna send Nemesis towards your ass. If you play Resident Evil, they gonna send the Men in Black on you. They gonna and if your shit is good, yeah, they gonna send the Men in Black on your ass or Nemesis or Tyrant. They gonna send somebody on your ass. They gonna find a way to work for your plant, your manufacturing plant when you hire and stuff. When you making the batches of soda, and they gonna have somebody putting some shit. You won't know it because you probably in Hawaii, or you probably somewhere on vacation. Every day's vacation, right? If you own the company. Anyways, so black people have to put out a better product, and I have proof of that. There is a Pop Tart brand that's black owned, and it's called Ghetto Pastries. Three black guys, they're all best friends. I think they're three of them or four of them, and they have a story on why they named their Pop Tarts Ghetto, and and um and so I know it's being sold in Targets, but I don't see it sold in HEBs for some reason, mainly Target, and that shit sits on the shelf. Like no one really buys it. Maybe, a box here and there, but maybe because it's here in Texas, maybe somewhere where it's predominantly black people. Yeah, it probably gets flued off the shelf, you know what I'm saying? But I don't see it here in Texas. And it's sad that we have to put race and skin color and culture on a box that has food in it to eat and consume. Isn't it sad? So we say, oh, this is a black owned brand. You're not going to buy it? Come on, buy it. Buy this black owned brand. What the hell? That's weird, right? But yeah, there's this place called Bojangles here in Texas. They built one right up the street. It was a hit the first day, and then it just died the next. They struggling, and it's a black owned business, but a lot of people were just like, no, we don't care about that. Some do, some don't. You have some racist people here, whatever, right? And it's sad again that black people we have to emphasize black, black, black. But it's sad, right? It's so sad. But yeah, like I said, everything has an origin, a roots to stuff. So for humans to have invented a lot of the things that we use to this day, saw someone else make it. Think about cups and plates. When the archaeologists are digging in the dirt and shit, right? And they finding things, spearheads, pottery, and all that stuff. Now, when they be finding that advanced technology in the oceans, now they ain't sharing that on Google. They don't have someone type up an article then they're not sharing that shit. Nah, they ain't doing all that. No way. But when they go in the oceans and they dig up, they get their deep sea divers, or they use cranes, and they pull up like, Egyptian artifacts and shit. Yeah, they'll share that. That's nothing. Yeah, that's pillow talk, man. Elevator talk, whatever. But when they start finding advanced technology and shit, nah. Like there is this conspiracy theory in Egypt that there's an arc, that it's a time travel arc. It puts your ass in the future, it puts your ass back. You know what I'm saying? And supposedly that's a conspiracy theory. Could it be true? It could be. It could be very fucking true. Or the other conspiracy theory that archaeologists found giants' bones, right? The bones of giants. But because people alter images and they alter videos, we don't know if it's true or not. You don't know if what you're seeing in that image is true or not. So in order to keep us in our place, they have you work 9 to 5s, 9 to 4s, 8 to 4s, 7 to 7s, 7 to 11s. Graveyards, some people go to work at 7, come home at maybe 4 a.m. It just depends. Right? They have to keep you in your place. They slave you to pay for things that was invented long ago, inventions. But they don't want to teach your kids in elementary school how to build a house. If people had that skill, then you wouldn't have to pay for a lot of these things. And I know that is USDA certified stamp true. So what they do is they try to make your children as sociable and likable as much. Have you noticed people are more obsessed with being liked? Because people's souls are no longer part of them anymore. You're starting to see a lot of young women, 20s in their 30s, 40s, some reaching 50, getting BBLs. And then they have a medical problem. They want to get right with God, right with Jesus, right with the Lord, and then they want to take it out their body. You got men lengthening their bones to be taller. And some men will go the great lengths to inject themselves with some oil shit to have bigger muscles. It's crazy. A lot of people will do things to impress the whole world. You only have one body, one life. We don't know when this shit is going to end or begin. You know what I'm saying? But I might make a part 2 for peace.